Hey YouTube, it's Steven slash Buttercup again. Day 6, I think, of Veda. Veda? I don't know how to pronounce it. But today I want to talk about. I remembered the thing that I wanted to talk about yesterday, which was the Power Rangers movie. And I don't know specifically what it is that I want to try and dissect or think about, contemplate about this, but um, I think, like, there's an aspect of it that is sort of intriguing to me, and it's that most of the white people who I've talked to about it, who are like Power Rangers fans, talked about how much they like Billy, and like a thing that seems bizarre to me is that like a lack of understanding about the idea of Billy having been engineered to be liked, and what the connotation is based on what sort of character elements and a story development, character development, character traits, and events that like sort of enabled the engineering of Billy to be the favorite character for people. And I went and saw it again yesterday, and the movie for a second time. And at some point, I like mentioned that like they MLK'd him. They MLK'd him. They like built up this sort of like Jesus-esque character who was faultless in every respect in comparison to the rest of the cast, who are all outcasts and you know not outcast, not just outcast, but like delinquent in some capacity. And Billy, even though he is like an explosives specialist and interested in like accidentally blows a lot of things up, they like don't have this reflect on him in the same way that it would if he existed in the real world. Which is, if you had a black person who built explosives regularly and detonated them at inopportune times, that person would be labeled a terrorist post haste. Their religion would be questioned, and they would probably be dead long before they had the opportunity to do it repeatedly, which in the movie it happens at least twice, once on school grounds, I guess twice on school grounds, because that's the reason why he's in detention. And like, the idea that he would get detention for blowing something up um, is ridiculous. Now, in the context of like the arc of the story, or the progression um, of the story. I forget what the thing is called, where the story, how the story develops, that involves the different acts and the climax, rising action, falling action. I forget what that thing is called. That structure. Um, but over the course of the story, they really have Billy doing this thing where it's typical to how black characters are developed within stories generally. He is shucking and jiving and, being this like safe black character who does like all the funny things. They even like have like a really overly um I don't know what you call it, like southern accent, overly southern accent. His accent is different from everybody else's in Angel Grove, and this is interesting to me because of everybody who I know who's from Southern California. Everybody who I know who's from Southern California, even if they live in the hood, they know how to code switch into like your typical, not necessarily Valley Girl esque, but like to have the same, this is a similar cadence to the one that I'm doing right now, in inflection and this thing, the I always forget what it's called, vocal fry. And Billy didn't have that. He sounded like he was from somewhere in the East Coast in the South, and like that is a character choice that like reinforces this idea that like this person is black and other, and a thing that I think subconsciously or consciously subverts all of these things, all of these like standard black tropes, is the fact that he's really smart and autistic, or like high functioning autistic on the spectrum. And the thing is that that is the only thing that they input into his character that gives him like a, in the context of whiteness, like redeeming quality. That's it. Like everything else about him is like your standard uh um not Uncle Tom. What is that? Ooh, there's a trope. But like he's basically performing a minstrel show in the context of this movie. Um and then they took it to the point, and this is a spoiler alert. Um, um, this is a spoiler alert. Spoilers ahead. They end up killing him, and when I went to go see the movie, I like gave that away to the person who was sitting with me. I like asked them if they were okay with spoilers, and I said they kill Billy, and the person who was watching the movie with me saw like was like really taken aback by that fact and thought that he was going to be dead forever in the context of the world. I did not convey well enough the idea that like they bring him back. But like even if they bring him back, like the emotional manipulation of having a black character die is it's really emotionally manipulative. It's really heinous and malicious in a way that's really hard to address because people think of films as intentionally emotionally manipulative in the first place. And that like it's okay to do this as long as it's servicing the story. But there's a large conversation, bigger conversation about doing that in ways that reinforce gender and racial and class stereotypes. And I think that they like did this gender, racial, class stereotyping of Billy, and then said, "Oh, but he's autistic. Oh, but he's a genius," and like thought that that would be entirely enough to redeem him in the eyes of the conditioned to enjoy media that is catered for white people audience. There's a lot of other things in the story that like really made me super uncomfortable, like having Jason and Kimberly be like feel like the leaders of the group, and also like if you race swapped Zach and Billy, then they would just fit into exactly what stereotypes they are. You get what I'm like? If you just race swapped Zach and Billy exactly how they were in the original, not exactly how they were. Like Billy was not East Asian or Chinese in the original, but like if you race swap them now, it would just be stereotypes exactly how you expect them. So they literally just swapped it. It's the most basic, most lazy like characterization choice. And then we were talking about how like Trini is like so nondescript brown person that like she could be from anywhere in the Americas or South Asia or Southeast Asia. Like there's no like just or the Middle East. Like she could be from anywhere, and like that is it's a crime that they did that. And then to like have her come out as possibly gay, and then within seconds have her like almost like practically definitely literally assaulted, but like almost sexually assaulted by Rita, was just like it's repulsive. And it's the filmmaker's choice to have done that. And I think that it's unforgivable. I think that like there was a lot of things about the movie that I liked. Its pacing, the nostalgia factor was strong, but I think as far as the characterization went, and then like forgiving the white people for having been actually shit bags. Like nobody else is actually really shitty. They're just acting out. Meanwhile, Jason and Kimberly are mean bad people. And and they have this sort of talk where they like reinforce like it's okay, and then the bullies get the like one of the putties arms dropped on their car, and like Kimberly's like, that's what you get, but she was the one who hurt them, and they just like we're cutting you out of our life because you're a toxic person. And like they're not bullies. They're not bullies. They're not bullies. Kimberly is the bully. Anyway, these are my thoughts on Power Rangers. What do you think? Tell me your ideas about this. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. This has been Steven, aka Buttercup. Feel free to call me the latter. And I'll talk to you in the next video. Peace.